Welcome to the Everything Goes podcast with TAK, where sports get loud, the takes get hot, and nothing's off limits. From game day breakdowns to way too early predictions, we're bringing the energy every single episode. Buckle up, because over here, everything really does go.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are live here from Instagram. We are here live, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I don't know why I always want to say something else. Episode 227, Everything Goes podcast, TAK, sponsored by 3 Natives in Royal Palm Beach, our chill spot to vibe and refuel. And today we will be talking about their newest summer item on their category. The summer just got a little spicy and sweet because they introduced their Tahini Mango Summer Fun Bowl, and that is only at the 3 Natives in Royal Palm Beach. It's packed with tropical flavor, mango, kiwi, pineapple, coconut flakes, granola, honey, tapped with some zesty tahini to kick you didn't know you needed. It sounds delicious. It looks delicious. And I know that I'm going to go try it. Ace, you look like you're dying to try it. It's perfect for that Florida vibe. And we're thankful for 3 Natives in Royal Palm Beach down here in Florida sponsoring this episode. And man, we got a lot on the agenda today. We're going to, we got to bring those blended takes in as we always do, as we're going to talk about is Trevor Lawrence a bust or just another overhyped quarterback? Is he going to get better? We're going to talk about, are the Steelers immediately top 3 in the AFC with Rodgers as he plays his last year, which was breaking news today on the Pat McAfee show. Ooh. And Brees versus Rodgers. Is Brees one of the most underrated quarterbacks to be a Hall of Fame quarterback and an elite quarterback, and one of the most underrated? When growing up, it was always Rodgers and Tom Brady. Always felt like Brees fell into that shadow, and we had some good talks about it before this podcast even started. So I'm excited. We're going to talk about who the MVP halfway through the season is so far for MLB and some around the horn with MLB. But man, it is a beautiful Tuesday. I got a baby coming soon within these next week to 2 weeks, or even tomorrow if he wants to pop his little head out. So we're excited. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Living.
I feel like we did get a lot of our hot takes out before.
I mean, we were chatting, man. We were chatting. I know Dad's over there crunching some numbers right now.
I hate that whole conversation because you really have to go in and look at stats for every single season. How the offense was run. You just can't say Drew Brees is definitely a top 5 quarterback, but to compare him against Aaron Rodgers, I mean, it's no, you can't do it.
Why can't you do it? Walk me through it as if I was a new to the NFL fan. Why could I not compare the two?
Because first of all, Drew Brees was in a different offense. He didn't have good running backs. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre. He played 30 more games less plus than Drew Brees. Drew Brees was in a passing offense. I mean, you look at the stats. I mean, Drew Brees is good in some stats. Aaron Rodgers is better in rushing stats and some other stats. It's 2 different offenses, 2 different style quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think so. The main point at the end of this podcast that we're going to discuss is Drew Brees the most disrespected QB?
Absolutely. I'll give you that.
That's the topic we're going to cover today. We are going to discuss. I threw Rodgers in there because growing up, I did feel like it was always two quarterbacks in the league right now, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And I'm just like, bro, Drew Brees is breaking all of these records. And
throwing Manning?
Well, say post Manning, like even post Manning, I mean, Drew Brees passed all Manning stats, but that's a good debate too. There's always going to be some. I mean, let's be real. Pat Mahomes is going to pass all of them probably.
Love at all. I mean, he gets no love.
Who?
Dan Marino. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and they just don't give him any love because he didn't win a Super Bowl. It's one of those. It's just a good argument to have, but there's never going to be a winner in argument because the views are going to be different.
Yeah, you're always high on Dan Marino, man.
He was a great quarterback. Him, Joe Montana. You don't hear about those guys. Jim Kelly was a great quarterback. Never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I feel like growing up, it was always Steve Young and Joe Montana, but I think that just gets so overshadowed or overlooked now because of the way Tom Brady impacted the game. And then you have guys like Pat Mahomes, and even though like nothing has really happened with these guys as far as like Super Bowls, but Josh Allen, Lamar, like these guys that are just absolute superstars. The game's just changed completely where it's even, you don't even hear those guys much anymore. I mean, the records are being broken so fast nowadays.
The question should honestly be, would you take either one of those quarterbacks on your team? And the answer would be yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll give you this question. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Which quarterback do you want in their prime?
Drew Brees. I got his stats.
Wait, did Rodgers or
listen,
Brees?
I know Brees. I know, not the back of my hand, but I know Brees has some good 2-minute fourth quarter stats. You can read them. I'm taking Drew Brees.
Read the stats. Read the stats, Chris.
Aaron, 23 fourth quarter comebacks, 34 game winning drive. Drew Brees, 36 fourth quarter comebacks, 53 game winning drives. I'm taking Drew Brees.
I'm taking Drew Brees. Listen, hands down, I think anyone could say
Taking Tony Romo.
and if I don't know that. And I'm biased. Like I believe Drew Brees is one of the most, or was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. And that title was given to him countless times. I mean, there were seasons where his completion percentage was off the charts. I mean, he broke records twice. I mean, he's like the only quarterback to throw 2 or 3 5,000 passing yard seasons.
Again, different offense. You know what I mean?
Different offense.
Yeah,
No, and I'm not even necessarily comparing him to Rodgers right now. Like I'm just highlighting some of his career successes. I mean, the records that he was having during the years, it was awesome.
67.7 is his career completion percentage, and Rodgers right now is at 65.1. And with the weapons they have in Pittsburgh, that's not going up.
So look at Rodgers' touchdown to interception ratio. I don't think that'll ever be broken, number one. But before you read the stats off on the fourth quarter, I was leaning Rodgers just because of maybe more the mobility factor. But after that, you got to go Brees there, just based off the numbers. It's very close. Like you've seen the Hail Mary throws from both of them. I mean, most come to Rodgers.
How many times from the Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
So you could pick either one of them. I mean, either one of them.
Yeah. I know that I've said this a lot. Obviously Rodgers has the MVPs, but there's been many times I've talked on this podcast that I believe Brees didn't get at least 2 MVPs because of how bad the Saints were as a team. I mean, Brees, for most of my time as a Saints fan, had one of the worst defenses in the league. And he's got 13 Pro Bowls. Rodgers has 10. But I mean, and I asked you guys the question before this, you know, you swap players. Brees goes to the Packers as long as Rodgers was on the Packers, and Rodgers goes to the Saints. Who has more Super Bowl rings? Who has more playoff appearances? Who has still, like, how do the stats change at that point? You know what I mean? I think the Packers had some very good defenses. I think they had some really good running backs. You throw Drew Brees' arm accuracy into that, and it's a whole other ball game.
Oh my God, when the Packers won the Super Bowl, they had a safety, Nick Collins. And he ended up, I think he suffered like a terrible season-ending neck or like a career-ending neck injury. That doesn't happen. Who knows how far they go? I mean, I know it's only one person, but I agree, Ty. It's like it's hard to play the game of like what ifs. They switch positions, but if it happens, it happens. It's very tough to predict, but I do feel like it's a shame to look at both and be like, oh man, they only walked away in their careers with one Super Bowl. I mean, Rodgers, sure.
Yeah, that's the thing that's tough too, is they both only have one Super Bowl. But like I said, and the stat, Drew Brees will always have the stats hands down. But I mean, it's hard debate, and that's not even necessarily the debate we're talking about. I just wanted to throw it in there to be fun. But yeah, I do think that Drew Brees is one of the most disrespected elite quarterbacks. I think that he was just overshadowed all the time, and he had to play in a rough team. Let's face it, he was on a team that had a bad defense, and the league hated them for the whole bounty gate. You know, it was tough. But at the end of the day, Drew Brees is the king.
He's the king of New Orleans.
He is the king of New Orleans.
He is the king. Yeah.
I mean, there were stats that he was, you know, like obviously Brady's the GOAT.
Well, and Ty, you brought this up before too. It's like Devontae Adams, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Marquez Colston. You could how do you compare a lot of what the Saints receiving core had to the Packers? So
yeah, like you imagine Drew Brees with a prime Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. You know, we're talking, and the Saints have had good players like a Marcus Colston, like a Michael Thomas. You know, but I think you
know, the thing is you look at these teams and there's always something that's different between them. I mean, look at the Rodgers. We talked about this before. Rodgers had so many good running backs. Name one good running back other than Kamara and Dalton Hillard, maybe that they had.
maybe.
You know, they threw the ball more.
Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with you that the Packers had better running backs. Rodgers had a top 10 defense several times. That's the big key factor for me. And if I were to compare these guys, like you said, we looked at the fourth quarter stats, fourth quarter comeback stats. We have the stats here in front of us, and the passing yards is off the charts. And I know you said it's a different offensive scheme. The touchdowns are off the charts, like for both these guys. But I still think so. At the end of the day, the question was, is Brees the most disrespected elite quarterback? Yes, in my opinion. You put him up next to Aaron Rodgers, I think he deserves more respect, and I think that he, in my opinion, is better than Rodgers.
Do you honestly think Rodgers sticking around is hurting his career? Playing on bad teams?
I think the Jets was a little bit of a stain just because I think it'd be different if he didn't get injured that first year. I think that injury, and then they were on Hard Knocks too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of made it ugly. I think this last year is going to be different. I really do think he's just going to go out there and have fun and just honestly ride into the sunset.
Oh, he's going to ride, all right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But even last year, they were bad, but I mean, he was still spinning the heck out of the ball.
Yeah, he'll never lose that.
I think the hype between that first game as a New York Jet, man, with the American flag running out there on his shoulder, there was a lot of hype for how old he still was. And I think him missing that whole year and then trying to get on the field in record-breaking time that no one's ever done because he does such unique things that people don't necessarily agree with. But I think that whole year, you take that whole year away, I think it's different.
But I'm telling you, this is my personal opinion. I think with the weapons they had in New York last year, I think with the weapons he had, he didn't do anything. And I think going to Pittsburgh that has nothing but DK Metcalf, I think he shot his load last year with his opportunity, and
on his load.
And they didn't do anything with the weapons that they had offensively. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree. Yeah. I mean, they have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the league. They got a good running back. But at the end of the day, is that coaching? Is that a fail on coaching? Because as a player, you're right. You could play all you want. You can certainly dictate how the game outcome happens. But at the end of the day, is that coaching? How was the defensive scheme? How was the offensive scheme? Was it maybe that's why a lot of players weren't happy?
Same offensive coordinator he had in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So.
I mean, he didn't look comfortable coming off that injury. He didn't look comfortable last year, but he had good weapons there. And I just, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 2 years removed from the injury, he might come out and shine. He just got married, so he's got nothing to play for. He's just going to go out there and ball it off. He doesn't need the money, so he's just playing for a ring, really, if you think about it. But
and we have seen multiple times, a quarterback who looks uncomfy a year after his surgery, and then the year after he looks a little better.
Well, and Kirk, I mean,
receiver thing, I was going off a website that had that freaking Coleman's age at 30 years old. So contact them, not me.
I will say I love that the most viral video we probably ever had. We are discussing the Bills wide receiver room and Dad. And I don't know how me and Ace did. I think Ace was on it for a second. Ace was like, this doesn't sound right. And I was just like, I should have.
Well, I thought you meant Cooper. But I didn't realize he wasn't there either.
I wonder is what the website was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what the website said, Chris. If it was wrong, yeah, I definitely believe that.
Yeah. Super funny that the most viral video that we had was that Bills one. But we're going to move on a little bit here. Ace, what do you think? Does Aaron Rodgers instantly make the Steelers a top 3 team in the AFC?
Not a top 3. I think you got to look at the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs. Heck, you could even throw the Chargers in there. I think they're borderline top 5. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's tough because they got a stout. They're always going to have a steady defense. Watt. Oh God, I'm blanking. Porter, Hayward might be in his final years. They're going to have a good defense no matter what. Rodgers definitely makes them better. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks. Same with Brees, like we mentioned earlier. It's just hard to, I mean, the guys he's competing against are 10, 15 years younger than him.
Yeah.
So it's borderline, I'd say top 5.
Yeah. I think Rodgers on the Steelers makes them a playoff team. But I can't tell you that it's a top 3 team in the AFC. I think that's a little bit of an extent. I think they'll be good. I know they lost some weapons. I know they still have DK though. They just signed DK. They bring Rodgers in. They got a young team behind them. I think it's gonna be a fun team to watch.
The Michigan receiver didn't even Did he? Even
Roman
play
Wilson
last year?
didn't even like play last year. So I mean, that's
So,
still a question mark.
yeah,
So
it's gonna be. We'll see. It's a tough. That's I think the AFC is far and away, or don't want to exaggerate too much, but it's a better division overall.
do they compete for first place in their division?
Yeah, because I think the Browns took a step back. I think the Bengals took a step back. I mean, it sure seems like the Ravens and the Steelers are going to be there at the end. Got to give the nod to the Ravens, but you never know. They play each other twice.
I would love to see the Ravens go to the Super Bowl, man.
I got nothing.
I really would. I would love it. I know my dad's having some technical difficulties, but that's okay. That's okay. So
go ahead.
We'll say top 5 team in the AFC, not a top 3 team.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll roll with them. I think Aaron Rodgers definitely makes him a playoff team, but we'll see what happens. I think Rodgers is going to be fun to watch with them. I think it's going to be a different year, like we just said. I think he's going to have some fun. I think he's going to play some good ball. But it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to be good. He was on the Pat McAfee show today, really breaking down the Steelers and just what he's going to do. And excuse me, I think it's going to be good. I think it's been good for the Steelers. I mean, what would the Steelers even have? You know what I mean? Mason Rudolph? I mean, that's not a terrible option, but I mean, they draft a quarterback, and that's great now that he gets to take a year to learn from Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh, they got the Ohio State guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's a great pickup for them.
Yeah, I thought so too. And now you don't have to feel like you need to rush him into the starting role. You could take a step back and allow him to learn from one of the greats in the game as at quarterback, and 20 years of experience definitely speaks something.
So this might be a wild take, but are the Patriots, when you were talking about top 3 for the Steelers, are the Patriots, do you think they're a top 5 team
in the AFC?
I kind of maybe it's over exaggeration the offseason with the guys they signed and drafted or whatever, but and Stephon Diggs kind of idiot.
I think they're I think the Patriots are a wild card, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are talking about how good they're going to be this year. And I think it's hard to say they're going to be a top 3 team, but it wouldn't shock me if they're a top 5 team this year. All the hype that they're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
All right, Ace, let's move on. Trevor Lawrence. You think he's a bust right now? You think he's still got some superstar caliber talent left in him?
I wish I knew the position more, but I got to think he's a bust at this point.
Just testing out these layouts, man. What we got here.
Sorry, guys. You got to deal with this one.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties.
Number one, so first off, there's a ton of pressure that comes with being the number 1 overall pick. Yeah. But I mean, since high school, pretty much the guy was lauded as being the top recruit, top prospect from there to Clemson to the NFL. So I got to imagine that it's almost a bust move. I wish they would have waited to sign him, kind of like what oh my God, what team waited? Sort of like what they did with Purdy. They could have signed Purdy after the second NFC championship run or to the Super Bowl run. They didn't. The 49ers waited. I kind of wish the Jaguars would have taken the same approach with Lawrence. So
what's a show without some technical difficulties?
Yeah, I know.
He's back.
Right now, we're talking about, is Trevor Lawrence a bust, or does he still have some of the superstar caliber talent left? I know that on this podcast, we've talked about his numbers are identical to Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones is in the perfect path right now to be QB1 for the Colts, is what I'm hearing through X and some reporters over there in Indianapolis. But I don't know. I mean, is Trevor Lawrence a victim of bad coaching, or is it just who he is? I know he's been injured last year and dealt with some injuries, but you saw that one season that, they looked good. They looked like, okay, this is Trevor Lawrence. He's going to get paid now this year. He took the team to the playoffs. Hasn't been the playoffs in how long? And since that, we haven't seen anything. The 2 years before that, they were barely above 500. So,
and he had good weapons in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he had decent weapons. I mean, I feel like they never have. I think the weapons they're getting now are finally superstar caliber. And you saw that in Brian Thomas, and now you have Travis Hunter.
But he had Ingram there. He had Christian Kirk there. He had some good receivers.
Yeah, but Christian Kirk is not like a top 10 receiver in my opinion.
But I'm just saying he had decent weapons.
And so Doug Peterson was there. Doug Peterson was the one that got in the playoffs, finally had that. And now it's a whole new offensive scheme, new offensive coach, new head coach.
Well, he was the guy from Tampa, right? The offensive coordinator. The weapons that they have right now, the Jaguars, there's no excuse for him not to have a good season and for the Jaguars to make the playoffs. I mean, outside of the Texans, don't you think it's one of those two teams that should win the South?
Yeah, don't sleep on Daniel Jones, man. That's my hot take. This is the same thing though that we had for Jalen Hurts before he took him to the playoffs and won the Super Bowl the next year, or went to the Super Bowl the next year. Is like, here's your cards on the table, Trevor. Like, I know you dealt with injuries. They brought some weapons in. Brian Thomas is going to be a great receiver in this league. You got Travis Hunter to help you. You still got a good running back room. Like now, here it is. Like, go play your cards. Like, you need to show the world that you're still Trevor Lawrence, the guy that never lost a game in high school, the guy that it was very good at Clemson. Like, you got to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, because we're getting to the point where it's like, all right, let's throw a random name in there. Would you rather have Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence for the next 5 years? You know what I mean? You start playing this game. Like, we're playing this game where we're comparing his stats to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, who struggled on the New York Giants. Identical stats.
Who would you rather have?
I said like Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence for the next 5 years. Like, I'm taking Jordan Love based on the way the Packers have developed quarterbacks.
Yep.
The way that he's played the past 2 years.
Jordan Love's gonna have the best year of his career this year with all the weapons they have there.
Like, you ask yourself this question: future superstar is what he's supposed to be, but is Trevor Lawrence just a mid player, and we're afraid to say it?
Yeah. Well, but that's a good point though. Like, if roles were reversed, if Trevor somehow lands with the Packers, Love's with the Jaguars, I feel like it wouldn't. I mean, I hate these hypotheticals anyways. Yeah. We're talking a lot about it on the show so far, but I think his career would have totally been different.
Yeah. You know, the problem is though, you have these kids are in college, you get people that freaking rank them and put all this expectation on them. They go to bad teams because, let's face it, they were drafted early for a reason. These teams are horrible. And then they don't show up and shine because, they don't spend money like they should to get good teams. And, then it's like, are they a bust? You know who the real bust was? DeMarcus Russell, whatever his name was?
Yeah.
From LSU, number 1 pick, never freaking made it a season, just trash. But yeah, I just think they put too much pressure on these kids.
There's the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's tough to call them busts because it's like even from high school on too, they're getting ranked. Like freaking middle school, they're getting ranked. It's not fair. But
yeah. Okay, after this, we are going to talk about the New York Yankees. And is it too early to press the panic button, or are you slamming that panic button? So we'll be right back. Our sponsor, 3 Natives, is serving up fresh, healthy food that actually tastes amazing. From acai bowls and smoothies to wraps and juices, they've got everything you need to fuel your day without slowing you down. Whether you're coming from the gym or heading to class or just need a clean energy boost to listen to this podcast, 3 Natives has you covered. Support local, eat fresh, and tell them Everything Goes sent you. That's 3 Natives, 1192 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Royal Palm Beach, Florida. Man, if you're watching live today has been a fun episode. Not only has my dad have technical difficulties, I just watched Ace's camera fly off his computer.
I'm still here. It's still I can still see you guys. There's no lag. I don't get it.
And I'm just like, golly, like we were just not meant to podcast today.
No, you know what the good thing is we get through these issues and we keep going.
True. Yeah. It's just it's funny because back in the day, like when we weren't live, you could pause it. Hey, let's figure this out. Yeah. And now you're just like, all right, let's just keep going. There's no going back now.
Look, honestly, what can you do? I mean, things happen. I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm just sitting here literally talking to you guys, and all of a sudden, it's just everything went blank. I'm like, all right. In the past, I would have panicked. I would have freaked out. I just muted myself, checked out. You guys, picked up the slack and kept going.
There was one time when you came back on and you weren't muted. You just hear, I got nothing.
Yeah, seriously, I heard a noise and then everything went blank. I'm just like,
Because now Ace, it sounds like your mic's off and you're talking through your computer now.
Oh my God, you gotta be.
Like, this has been a fun day, but we're gonna keep the ball rolling. We're gonna keep the ball rolling. Dad, I know that this is your favorite top. I know that if I could tell you who the Yankees could win 20 games in a row, and you could have one person pull some negatives out of it, it would be this guy and a guy that I love. But Dad, I know that you would love to talk about this. Is it
Absolutely.
is it too early to press the panic button?
No,
or
look,
are you pressing the panic button right now?
See, the problem is I look at things differently than you younger guys. I look at I compare the Yankees to other teams, and the Yankees right now, I mean, they blew a 7-game lead in the division. Their record in freaking Aaron Boone's record in the summer is 115 and 120. It's bad. And the Yankees already this year in June are 10 and 11. And I say this all the time. When you see good teams perform, like Detroit's on fire right now. They're going to be the first team to 50 wins if they don't have it already. You see teams and you see stats and they stand out. It's not that I'm being negative. It's just like, is this team right now a team that's capable of winning a championship when the cream rises to the top and you have to perform in the playoffs? And I say right now, no, they're not. I mean, they're ranked 30th right now with runners in scoring position. They're ranked 30th with players left on base per game. They're ranked 27th with Ks per game. Those are all things that you need to improve on before you get to the playoffs. And I'm not saying the Yankees are bad. The Yankees are a good team, but these are the concerns every year. It killed them against the Dodgers last year. The Dodgers were a more superior hitting team and drove in runs where the Yankees just don't at this time.
Yeah. I mean, I was just messing around with the negative thing. I think that, the Yankees could have a 15-run comeback and you just still would be happy.
You're right. Because when you coach baseball, you see things, and those are the things that drive you nuts. Those were the things that kept me up at night.
I think the Yankees. I agree. I think that there's some things they need to work on. I think for how hot they started, like, this was bound to happen. That's where I'm thinking right now is, like, every team goes through this. Every player goes through it, right? Every player. I mean, Aaron Judge has even cooled off a little bit, but he's still leading almost every MLB stat, which is insane.
Mm-hmm. The only hot month they had was May. They were 17-9 in May. In April, they were 15 and 13.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think Jazz coming back the past 15 games, Jazz is batting over 300. I think that helped. I think some of these guys are cooling off and you could use some help. But also there's a lot of guys that they rotate that don't get out there 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row. I think that kind of kills them. I think Aaron Boone kind of needs to get a better strategy because you have Stanton, you have DJ, you have Bellinger, you have all these guys that could start every game, but they're trying so hard to mix them all out there, get all these bats out there. And I think it's screwing with some of these guys. I will say this, the Yankees, yes, they had a little bit of a drought, but I love the young talent that they have up in the starting rotation and in the bullpen. And sure, you're seeing some guys, blow some games. Like Clark Schmidt was a little hiccupy last time, but like Will Warren, Clark Schmidt, some of these guys come on the bullpen. It's cool to see Garrett Cole goes down and you're like, this might not be our year. And how these young guys are stepping in and at times playing very well at a high level. And you're still first in AL East Division. Tampa is creeping. Toronto's creeping.
But that's my issue I have with them. Their record against their own division is below 500, which is horrible. And when you have bad teams, you need to take advantage of those. You can't go and lose two games out of 3 to like Boston. I mean, they lost to Boston 5 out of 6 games this year.
I mean, Boston was tough. They
I know, but
played
I'm just saying,
hard.
But these are the games that you like when you play a bad team, you got to win those games. You got to find a way to win those games.
Yep.
And we split with Baltimore. That's tough, which is shocking because Baltimore did not look like a 34-win team.
Yeah.
And they seem to be coming on. And I think the Braves are kind of making some momentum too in the NL of late. So
I would not be pressing that panic button right now. I think every team goes through this. I think that they went through it for a good solid month, which sucked because it allowed this division to be closer than it should have been, like you said. They just need to keep grinding. They need to keep doing their thing. I hope, some of these guys that are back and healthy helps out, but they got to figure it out. They'll figure it out.
You got to trample the weak and hurdle the dead. You got to get a big lead, man. You can't let these teams creep around, because the problem is Toronto has a lot of weapons on that team. You don't want a hot Toronto team to come in and pass you. You don't want a freaking Tampa Bay team, and don't count out Boston. I mean, Boston's only 6 or 7 games back.
They're 5 games behind us right now.
So I mean, the thing is when you have opportunity to get that lead and blow that lead open, you have to do it, and that's what concerns me about them. You got to find ways to crawl it out and win these games.
Yeah. Ace, how you feeling about your Minnesota Twins, who are 11.5 out from first place right now, but only 3.5 out from the wild card? They had a really bad first start. I mean, your Twin stuff was in the garbage that early on in the season.
I mean, let me first preface, I did not like signing Baldelli from the get-go as the manager.
Yeah.
He's first-time head coach.
I remember that.
First-time manager ever. They got rid of Paul Molitor, who's an absolute freaking favorite. He only played for 2 teams, the Brewers, finished his career with the Twins. They got rid of him after 3 seasons, and I think they went to the playoffs 2 out of the 3 years. Or at least I think the last year after they got rid of him, for sure. So I'm not happy with the situation they're in right now. They didn't they cut payroll 2 years ago or going into the season last year. After they made the playoffs, they won their first series. They had the worst losing streak in all sports. Finally won a series, and it's just what's the saying? You keep doing, like, you go insane. It's just over and over. There's nothing. My thing is, if you look at head coaches or managers in any sport, if you win 1 playoff game in 6-7 years, what do you think should happen?
Yeah.
What the hell do you think should happen? I love that they went after Correa, but we haven't had outside of Johan Santana winning the MVP or the Cy Young, we have not had solid pitching since I've watched. And this has been decades, since the early 2000s. So I'm not impressed. I love the offense. The pitching's terrible. Pablo Lopez is injured right now. Since Pablo Lopez went down, the Twins have the worst ERA, I think, in all of baseball. Oddly enough, he got injured in Sacramento or against the A's, and people have been complaining about that stadium all year, I guess.
Really? I like how Ace started off kind of like normal, and you could just hear the anger in his voice just get louder and louder.
Let me just read this. So the Twins in their last 19 games, they're 3-16 in their last 19 games. And this is what our stupid baseball of operations, whatever GM says. Selling is not my main is not my focus right now by any means. I think when you think you have the team that you believe you have, it's just a bunch of word salad bullshit. Healthier and get guys back soon. You feel like this is a group capable of putting together good baseball. I can't even finish this. Guys, the Yankees, any franchise that actually cares about putting a winning product on the field, would not put up with 1 playoff win in the last 6-7 years. They wouldn't do it.
Say for the people in the back. This is gonna be a good clip.
I just think the Yankees too, like, they need to go get a third baseman. Chaz needs to be at second base. That's his position. They need to get a third baseman. I wish they would have went all in for Devers. I think Devers was a clutch hitter, a lefty at Yankee Stadium. He kills the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. I don't know why they just didn't go all in and gave up Spencer Jones or somebody who's not going to be up in the Yankees anytime soon. No. Why not? You're not moving Judge.
Number one, it's a division team, so they would have wanted the whole house. For someone that you're going to have like another 2-3 years.
I would have done it. You know how many players sit down in the minors, never step foot in a major league?
Yeah, but we got some good guys down there that I'm
But you have good guys up now.
Continue to get young.
You have good guys up now that you're not getting rid of for the next couple of years.
This is what better. Well, the Twins think they're a big market team like the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers and all that. In fact, the only freaking moves they're going to make before the deadline, I can guarantee it. Mark this right now. The only moves they will make are to bring up players from the freaking minors.
Yeah.
That doesn't scream big market at all.
Well, this just goes back to the same take we say all the time. Should franchises be fined or held accountable for when they don't invest in their teams and invest for their fans? Because at the end of the day, as a fan, it's not fun to watch your team if for 5, 6, 7 years you're not making any progress to the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's not.
I think the MLB should force them to sell their team if they don't freaking become a winning team within 5
Or
years.
like start taking draft picks away or something, like something to like,
Yeah.
hey, you need to invest in your team. Like this, it's not fair. You know, we bring up the Pirates all the time. We bring up teams that have not been decent for a long time.
My
The
question for you,
The Rockies.
what's going to happen to Tampa Bay? I don't think they deserve to stay in Florida. Florida is not a baseball team.
I mean, I heard that they're going to stay at Tropicana Field, and I said if they are to stay at Tropicana Field, whatever it's called, I think they should just make the top of it almost like Minnesota or Atlanta football field where it's the glass.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
they
get
don't
some
get
hurricane
out.
windows in there. But here's the thing, though: it's an old stadium. Like, make it new. Like, make it attractive where people will want to come.
But that was a dome with air conditioning in Florida, South Florida.
Yeah,
You know,
well, do the dome again, but just have glass.
it's pathetic when you have a playoff game and they don't even sell out.
I know.
Or you know what? So Miller Park, I can't remember what the Brewers Stadium's called now, but they have, it's not the dome, but out in like left center, the glass retracts open. So you do at least get some breeze from there.
Same with the Marlins team. The Marlins team can open up and turn into an outdoor stadium, which I think is awesome.
You know who needs a baseball team? Like Oklahoma or,
That'd be cool.
Nebraska or like Tennessee or something.
Yes.
Tennessee doesn't have a
Nashville,
baseball team?
downtown Nashville.
Yeah, Tennessee doesn't have a baseball team.
Dude, that'd be cool for like Oklahoma, because like I feel like Oklahoma, like Nebraska, like those are some baseball counties. You know what I mean?
Did you see Omaha for the College World Series? The crowd that was there?
Yeah.
Oh
Big
no.
round of applause for LSU in their 8th championship. But
See that poor kid that slipped in the outfield and missed the ball.
Yeah. But they sold out. That freaking place was
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania needs an MLB team.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to shout out two guys real quick. I want to shout out Dylan Smith, who we had on this podcast probably 5-6 years ago, and he was Alabama pitcher at the time. He is now in the professional level for the Detroit Tigers. I think he comes out of the bullpen. Huge congrats. And also huge congrats to Morgan McSweeney, who we had on the podcast, was AAA for the Orioles, but then was playing independent ball, is now picked up by the Miami Marlins. It's pretty cool. So just two shouts to some two guys.
You might be able to drive down there and actually sit down with him for an interview.
Yeah, I could.
Cool.
Hey, so like I've been reaching out to a lot of athletes. I was reaching out to you remember Jared Saltalamacchia from the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah.
So I reached out to him and I saw in his bio he's a baseball coach for TKA, which is the King's
Father
Academy.
Chris and Aaron.
No, it's called the King's Academy. It's a Christian private school that's like 20 minutes from me. And I was like, yo, if that's really where he's coaching, I'll go down there right now and get like a picture with him or something. You know what I mean?
Just tell him we're not TKA, we're TAK.
Yeah, we're TAK. We're TAK. All right, last thing we want to discuss here is crowning the king of MLB right now. Who is your guys' MVP right now?
Shohei Ohtani.
Really?
Well, we know it's not Mike Trout.
Yeah, we know that. Judge or Raleigh, who's the guy, the catcher for the Mariners? It's if Judge keeps. I mean, it's right now. I'd say Judge, but like if you ask me this at the end of the season, and both Judge and Raleigh are still like they don't really have much downtime. None of them, knock on wood, nobody gets injured. Got to go Cal Raleigh if he's still catching. Let's say Cal Raleigh catches 110, 15, 20 games.
Yeah,
that's very important. But I mean, I feel like Judge is literally holding this team up for the Yankees.
Cal Riley, I don't see him in top three. Like, okay, there he is.
Really?
There he is. He's first for RBIs. So Aaron Judge, I don't know why you didn't say Aaron Judge that. Aaron Judge is leading the league in OPS, batting average. He's second in home runs. He is first in hits. I mean, the guy is very close to getting triple crown.
Where's he at for All-Star votes?
I think him and Shohei Ohtani are leading it. I mean, I think he's gonna be back-to-back MVP. I mean, he's leading almost.
Look, I hope
he's
so.
leading
I
three
really
quarters of the stats. You know what I mean? So like, you hope that he just carries this out. I mean, the growth of Aaron Judge, it has been amazing. I mean, there was a time where Aaron Judge, you could throw a ball high and out and he'd swing at it, high and low. I mean, low and out, he'd swing at it.
Low and away was his Achilles.
It was just killer. Like his discipline. Like he went to, I love when I watch the Yankees games and they pan to the dugout. And I just see Casey Dykes sitting there. I'm like, bro, we had him on the podcast 2 times.
Yeah.
The guy looks like a machine too. Just this
we should have had him on 3 times if somebody had something planned.
Me?
No, he did.
No,
What was I doing?
I had him on. It was a Wednesday.
Oh,
I can't do Wednesdays yet. I can now.
Yeah, tell Casey we got priorities too.
I'm gonna message him.
I'm gonna message him and say, hey, it's the All-Star break's coming up. Come on, let's come on. We want to talk about what the Yankees' weaknesses are.
Yeah, man. This next couple weeks, we got the Tennessee Titans performance director coming on, which will be fun. We're in contact with some people, man. We're in contact with some people, which will be fun.
Heck yeah.
Hopefully, I don't have technical difficulties.
Yeah, we need to figure that out before we have a guest on.
We can do a dry run too. I don't know what happened to mine either. Poor guy.
Yeah, I was like, golly, what is going on today? I just see Ace's camera, like it looked like it did a 360, and I could see him trying to move it. I'm like, what?
I didn't even see it because we were going through that commercial and I couldn't see anything.
Oh yeah, I can see our boxes down here, which is it's
tornado.
Funny, it's funny. But yeah, man, that's everything we have for you guys. Everything Goes Podcast, TAK, live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We will post clips on YouTube and on Instagram and on Twitter. If you're down here in the Florida area, check out Three Natives on Royal Palm Beach. Check out the Tajin Mango Bowl. I finally said that right, Ace. And man, big shout out to them for supporting us these past, I think, 6 episodes. And we hope to continue to grow with them and see where that takes us. But we love you guys. Check it out. Show the love. Share us on Facebook. Share it to your friends. Share it to your mama. Tell us how you're doing, guys. We'll see you guys next.